Hey y'all, well, what's going on the trail this week? We got some things that are definitely affecting the hikers out there. That's fire and ice and fur. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So first off, we got No Rush and Chopsticks. They are in the Lee, Massachusetts area, probably north of there. They are doing a resupply and taking a knee road just because of the heat. And they stayed at Upper Goose Pond, which is a really cool place up there. It's a shelter that's really an old house is what it used to be. 2 stories, really neat place. I stayed up there when I did my Massachusetts hike year before last, and they said even though it's hot, it's a great place to stay. They said it's been hot all week and the mosquitoes have been unrelenting. Has cooled off a day or so, but it's back hot again. They did stay at the Quaker tent site one night, and they were eating lunch and heard a noise about 20 feet away, and it was a big old bear coming in on the campsite. And they said even with the hollering, it only slowly, as they said, saltered away. I don't know bears saltered, but apparently it did it, and it did it slowly, and it never came back. So that's not cool when a bear comes in that close, and this was the actual video from that encounter. And then Alpha-Gallon Metro, they have made it to Vermont, so that means they have less than 599 miles to go. That is awesome. They said the heat wave passed for a day, but it was super humid for a while. Of course, now they're back in it. They sent in this video with visual minds provided by Metro for the English-speaking impaired.
Hey Ramdino, it's that time again. We're down to 599 miles to go. We're in the small town of Greylock in Massachusetts. They've got some really slick trail magic down here. A lot of sodas and waters and all kinds of stuff. Very nice of them to put that out for the hikers. Metro's there dancing with the sign. Yeah, 599 to go. It's a heat wave right now. It is really hot. Like, it's ridiculous hot. Anyway, we're gonna get to camp and cool down, and we'll be on our way into Vermont tomorrow. Hikers hike.
Metro does a great job of that, right? And then we got Moondog. It's been a while since he updated us, but he's made it past Kent, Connecticut, and is pressing on north. He's got a little tramway around him that he's kind of hooked up with, and that's Shredder, Steelhead, and Biscuit. They've been hiking together for about 400 miles. They're all doing great, having a blast. They said New York is very overgrown. In sections that are really in need of trail maintenance, there's grassy parts that you can't see your shoes because the grass is so thick in there, and it's tick haven. And he kind of, wondered about this and said the AT says the #1 danger on the trail is Lyme disease. So why is the trail so why is it so grown up here? And we're going to hear some other folks talking about that as well. He says it's really in need of a great deal of pruning and just some simple maintenance. So one of the things that I want to just throw out there for trail maintainers, so don't want to throw shade on the trail maintainers because they do such an awesome job, particularly those trail maintainers like the Tennessee Eastman Club that has been through literally hell getting the trail back in shape after Hurricane Helene, and continues to be out there doing that, as well as working on other trails too. So, these trail maintainer clubs, they just do a line share, and they are running out of volunteers. So the volunteer population is getting older, and those people are aging out, and it's not being replaced by younger people. So the younger generation is going to have to step up, because if they don't step up, then I've talked to trail maintainers that are in the know, and the next thing is going to be, they're going to have to, if the trail is going to be maintained, it's going to have to be done by paid people. And that means that fees will have to be put in place to pay for those paid people. So it's important that the younger generations step up. If you're anywhere near the trail, can get there and become a part of helping the Appalachian Trail and maintain the Appalachian Trail. There are sections there where they've got one maintainer for many miles, and so you just can't keep up with the spring and the summer growth, particularly as wet as it's been, with the grass that grows on the side and the bushes, the weeds that literally grow on the side. You know how much weeds grow in your yard? Well, the same thing happens on the AT, and you can't keep up with it when you got miles and miles that you're looking after. Maybe 10, 20, 30 miles that sometimes one individual rather than the whole club is having to look after on a regular basis. So think about that when you hear folks that are having some issues, when the hikers are out there having some issues. The trail maintainers are doing the best they can, I'm sure. Dutchie, he checks in and says that they will be finishing Pennsylvania soon, but it might be wise to inform people about the snakes. So he says with the heat that they got out there, the snakes are really coming out. Coming from Australia, he says he's used to seeing snakes out there, but they are not aggressive and rather calm compared to the snakes that are here. And he's met 2 people so far that have been bitten by snakes on the trail, and that means painful delays in their Appalachian journey. And he sends in this video as an example of what he's seen out there.
So like I said before, here's all the rattlesnakes. But then here, really sneaky one is a copperhead. So they do live close together. Gotta keep an eye out what's happening behind me. This is cool.
So rattlesnakes and copperheads, I didn't even knew that they lived in the same area together. I thought snakes, stayed away from each other. I know that there are some, matter of fact, I thought they ate each other, but in any case, that's crazy to see that many snakes right there. And you heard him say, hey, I need to look out for what's behind me. So who knows what was there. Then we got Moose Liver, Hickory Nut, and Idiot Runner. They have become known as the Golden Girls Tramley. And so Moose Liver, she's been working for about 6 years and updating on this channel for about 6 years trying to finish her section hike. But Hickory Nut and Idiot Runner, they are true through hikers. And they're all between 64 and 70. So Moose Liver from down in the south that she'd done mostly, she was doing a lot of trail magic and supporting them and hiking some sections she hadn't done, but now she's doing more hiking than she was before. They're somewhere around Great Barrington, Massachusetts. And his sonny Jim, he checks in from South Virginia.
Well, hey there, Ramdino. Sonny Jim reporting in June 16th. Mile 631. Yeah, you asked about water sources. And Southern Virginia is a little bit sparse on that right now. We've had to pack more, and right now I'm on the search after going past 2 springs that are dry. So that's a little rough right now. Bug situation seems to be all right, although I think you're talking about insects. So the mosquitoes are out, gnats are buzzing around. We're getting hit by a lot of them. So DEET may be broken out any time now. That's about it for now. We're pressing into Pearisburg and trying to get some resupply and maybe a little lunch. Some barbecue sounds in order. All right, y'all have a good one. Thanks.
And he also sends another one talking about the heat and how they've been dealing with it.
Well, hey there, Ramdino. Sonny Jim. Just want to give you a quick update. The heat in Southern Virginia has been most oppressive. A whole bunch of us have gotten off the trail and are seeking comfort in Motel 6s, hostels, anything that has AC, and it's a pretty tough situation right now. On other news, we had great trail magic brought to us by the Creamers, friends of mine from way back when. And on other news, Papa Bean has left the trail. He's gone to take care of some family business. And I've been being supported by a good friend of mine from college, Marion. So she's providing trail magic now to other hikers, helping get them off the trail and to safety. So that's the news. Stay cool, folks.
So he says he's got a little bit of a mini bubble around him, about 20 or so folks that are at the same pace. They're hitting the same shelters. Most of the shelters are not suitable for 20 folks up there, so there's probably going to be some little overcrowding with that group and other groups that are coming through. Says lots of reports of Noro are still in that area up there and still in that group. So he says everybody's a little bit skittish, which hopefully makes those people, if they're a little skittish, makes them doing the things that that will prevent them from getting noro, like not eating out of each other's food bag, washing your hands constantly, don't touch stuff that are in the shelters there. He says the good water sources have typically been good, but the intermittent or the questionable ones, so the ones on far out that have like half a raindrop in them, those are mostly been dry, and he indicates that bugs are on the uptick. He says the heat and humidity have been oppressive, and everybody is feeling the effect. And then we've got Hot Sloth is back on trail after some time off to try and finish his 2024 hike. He sends in this update.
Hey Ramdino, this is the Hot Sloth. I have been off the trail for 6 months, waiting for my bursitis to heal. This morning, June 12th, I took off from Harper's Ferry. I think my hike's turning into a flip-flop now. But anyway, I'm going to try to go slow, take care of my hip, and make it to Katahdin, and then bounce back down to Harper's and head south, at least a deep gap where I left off. So, coming out of Harper's Ferry, trail's nice today. It's going to be like 92 degrees. Yeah, so that's all I got, Ramdino. Hope you're well. Thank you for all you do reporting on the trail. And if I see anything that's notable, I'll hit you back. Hot Sloth out.
Tick Magnet, because of where he was at and like a signal, didn't get us a video out this week, but he says the whites are both beautiful, butt kicking, and a mental challenge. So that's not both, that's three. All three of those things. He says he's up north of Crawford Notch, and he was doing 13 and 14.7 miles a day, but not now. And that's a common thread as you slow down once you get to the whites there. And then Boston and OG, they send in their update.
Hey Ramdino, it's Boston with OG. We are in a different state. We're in Vermont. We're heading down Mount Killington, going toward the Inn at the Long Trail, one of my favorite spots on the entire Appalachian Trail. The trail has been very hot this week, but the trail's dried out a lot. Of course, today it's raining, so I don't know if the mud will come back or not. We haven't seen many no-bow through hikers at all. We've been alone most of the time, but that's okay too. Well, that's all I've got. Thanks very much. Boston out.
And of course, not to be outdone, we got the third part of the awesome threesome, and that's Straps. He sends in his update.
Hey Ramdino, it's Thursday, June 26th. Straps here. I'm on the fire tower on the top of a smart mountain. It's a beautiful day with a beautiful view. The trail conditions have been very good here in New Hampshire. I absolutely love Vermont. It's one of my favorite states from before, but my only complaint about Vermont this year is the trail maintenance. They need to get some weed whackers on those grass sections because they're 5 to 6 feet tall, and you've got about 4 inches of trail, and you're just almost bushwhacking through the tall grass. So it's terrible for ticks and terrible for dew in the morning. You're soaking wet even on a nice day. So that was my only complaint about Vermont, but I'm very happy to be in New Hampshire. And this is the view I'm looking at right now. Thanks, Ramdino. Have a great week.
And somebody that has been updating us practically every week is Luscious. He sends in his.
Hello, Ramdino. Luscious here from the top of Moxie Bald. And it's really a beautiful day out. It's in the low 80s. I had to zero yesterday because it was close to 90 degrees. But guess I'll hit Monson tomorrow, and then it's on to the 100-mile wilderness. Take care.
So Luscious is kind of our special person out there, and I mean that because not in the normal vernacular special person, although he is special. But Luscious was part of the Woods Hole weekend that was put together for aspiring thru hikers. And so I was fortunate enough to be asked to be a mentor at that. And so Luscious was one of the attendees there. So it's really cool for him to be updating us every week and to see his progress and to see, you know, what he did before he got on trail and started hiking. So he's somebody you really need to be following. If there's anybody you need to be following, and you need to be following a lot of folks out there, but I would tell you to go ahead and follow Luscious, and you can find his link down in the description section. I have a link to everybody that's got social media that has signed up for my list. And so the link to sign up for that list, it's not too late, and the link to go find that list and support your favorite thru hiker is down below as well. So go check out Luscious on that. And then Zen and Fraggy, they have made it to the halfway marker, so congratulations to them. And Rabbit, he is made it to the 100-mile wilderness and should be summiting any day now. So we got Rabbit summiting, and Luscious is going to be summiting probably in the next week to 10 days. So that's going to be exciting to see folks that have been updating us on a regular basis summiting. And we got Pacesetter and Uncle Bill. They have made it to Port Clinton, Rocksylvania. They say the rocks haven't been too bad, which is, I'm glad to hear that because I'll be heading there in August. But they did say rain and thunderstorms have slowed their progress. They have been exceeding their 80-mile per week. Hey, Daisy, what's up, girl? They've been exceeding their 80-mile per week goal is what they've kind of started out with, but kind of slowed down a little bit in Rocksylvania. But they've started to see hikers regularly. Not many nobos that started at Springer. And there haven't been many thru hikers around. So it's summer, so you would expect there to be more day hikers, section hikers out there than normal. But they say they're still healthy and having a great time. And certainly last but not least, I've got my favorite hiker out there on the trail. He doesn't have a YouTube, you're not going to be able to follow him, but he is my favorite hiker, and that's Chance Man, otherwise Ramdino Jr. So right now he is doing the El Camino over in Spain. So what an awesome trip for him. He's about 110 clicks in, so 100 miles in so far. So he's doing not sure if he's going to do the whole thing, but he's doing the biggest part of it. So that is awesome. Glad he's getting a chance to do that in his youth before of course, he's got a job. He is a nurse, and so he can take the time off to go and do that and work his schedule. So that is awful cool to see him out there having a good time and checking in with us on a semi-regular basis. So a common theme this week has been the heat and people just getting exhausted. And of course, along with the heat, people got to be hydrating, and along with hydration, you've got to be replacing those electrolytes. Well, I got something for you. You know, the trail's a great place to lose yourself, get away from it all, and lose electrolytes at the same time. How about some other great places? Touring history in Florida in 92 degrees with 80% humidity. Or walking on the beach with your main squeeze. You're sweating out all those electrolytes and you got to get them back in your system, and there's no better way than to do that. Element Drink Mix is going to help you get those electrolytes back in you by giving you a free sample pack with every order. What's the electrolytes that we're losing we need to replace, honey?
Sodium, magnesium, and potassium.
You got that right. And right now, where do you go to get you some?
drinklmnt.com/Ramdino, or it's easier, you can scan the QR code.
Boy, she's smart, ain't she? That's right, go to drinklmnt.com/Ramdino. Go and get you some. Yep, I'm needing some of this out here right now in this heat, chatting with you and Daisy out here. If you're an element consumer, if you'll send me a quick video, a 30-second or less than a minute video of you enjoying your element, whether it be on trail or just out there drinking lemonade flavor out there on your front porch in the heat, something like that, send that to me. I'll send you, at my expense, your own 30-packet box, free of charge. I'll send that to you in exchange for that video if I pick your video and use it. So send that to me along with your mailing address, and I'll send this box of element to you. Now, let's keep on going. So I-40 now is open. So I-40, we had a microburst that came through I-40 where the trail crosses over it right after Davenport Gap there, after the northern end of the Smoky Mountains. And of course, that was the microburst that came through and did all the damage to Standing Bear Hostel. So they're still recovering from that. But I-40 now is open. So you can get there if you want to get up and help Standing Bear, you can do that. The resupply options with I-40 coming through the Smokies, and most of the thru hikers are already through there anyway, but we got flip-floppers, southbounders, people like that, section hikers, because section hikers watch this channel as well. But without I-40 being open and Standing Bear closed, your resupply options were basically nil once you got past Newfound Gap. So that's opened back up, which has opened up those resupply options in there. But the trail there after, we don't know what damages are actually done to the trail there in that section, either south into the Smokies on Newfound, heading toward Newfound Gap, or north heading into Hot Springs. So hopefully we'll be getting an update. If you're out there hiking and you've got an update on what the trail looks like in that area, please send me some pictures or a quick video of that. Would love to have that and know what's going on. And then up in Maine, the USGS gauge at Piscataquis. Don't know if I did that right. I know some people sent it to me phonetically, and I forgot to spell it to put that out. But those water levels have come down south of Monson and into the 100-mile wilderness. However, there is more rain expected coming in. And the ATC did receive a report from a hiker that was almost swept away at Long Pond Stream at Nobo Mile 2097 trying to cross. So they do get bad. It takes about a week with no rain or very little rain for that particular section there for it to come down on the rain gauge. Otherwise, the water is really moving through there. So be careful, hikers, if you're in Maine. Right now, they're still going to be getting some rain. So just be careful out there. Practice not crossing streams that are flowing above your knee any faster than you can throw a stick and then pace that stick down the stream. If it's outpacing you, that's too much. That's too fast. Still got bear reports going on, so they've closed Bailey Gap Shelter. That's in the around mile marker Nobo 661. It's in the George Washington and Jefferson National Forest. So it's closed due to bear activity there. You can't camp there. They don't want you taking breaks there. They don't want you looking at it. So just stay away right now from Bailey Gap Shelter till the bear issue. And usually it takes, I don't know, somewhere around 10 days to 2 weeks of nobody being there without any food and smelly stuff before the bears will move on. If you're a ridge runner or just somebody that's in the know, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think I read that somewhere. And then they've also closed in the Smokies Siler Bald Shelter, and that's at Nobo Mile 196. So that's been closed. Fortunately, they have reopened Derrick Knob Shelter at Nobo Mile 190, and so that's going to help out with that situation. Before, you had Molly's Ridge and Derrick's Knobs closed, which Molly's Ridge is the first one in there. First shelter into the Smokies right after that big climb coming up out of Fontana. Roll Tide, who is currently the caretaker up at the Blackburn Trail Center up in Virginia. Last year was a ridge runner there in the Smokies. He indicated that there is a camping spot, there's a designated camping spot before you get to Molly's Ridge there. I wasn't aware of that in the Smokies. But right now you don't have to worry about that because you can make it to Derrick's Knob. But Molly's Ridge is still closed. Of course, Siler's Bald is now closed. Peck's Corner's closed and Icewater's closed. Peck's and Icewater's on the other side of Newfound Gap. So that's going to make for a long day hiking there. And then Rick Lawrence, he's a viewer. He sends in that in a striking contrast to the sweltering heat gripping much of the east, there was a 55-year-old hiker from Texas that was rescued in frigid and treacherous conditions on Mount Washington this past week. Carolyn Wilson, she's 55 from Austin, Texas. Her and her husband was hiking up Mount Washington and she became hypothermic just because the conditions, you went higher, conditions deteriorated obviously drastically. It got colder, the wind was blowing, They were approximately a mile north of the Cog railway tracks there on the Gulf Side Trail. And she became completely incapacitated. She couldn't communicate with her husband. She couldn't move. So her husband called 911 around 5 o'clock. The biggest problem was having was it had been some rain, plus they were sweating, and she's wearing cotton as a as a base layer. Folks, this is a good example of cotton kills. Don't take cotton on the trail. Just don't even take it if you're out there day hiking or section hiking. I know, you know, you see people section, you know, sometimes in a t-shirt or something, but you know, unless you're going to be at lower altitudes where you don't have to worry about the weather deteriorating, just don't do it. There is a happy story though. Rescuers got to her using the Cog Railway, got up there. She was severely hypothermic, got her out, got her to the hospital. But due to the high winds, the intermittent rain, the clouds, it was just not a good situation for her. So learn from others' mistakes. There's no point in folks going up there and dying on a hike. Whispers, he reports in that in the Whites, and Whispers is of course our northern correspondent, he reports in that in the Whites they're bouncing back and forth between the chill and extreme heat, and they've had separate rescues both for hypothermia and heat injuries up there. So they've had about a half a dozen rescues this past week in the Whites, including a minor one for a hiker 2 days ago. New Hampshire Fish and Game are alerted that a Garmin device went off. There was no cell service in this particular area. It was around the Middle Moriah Mountain, around the Rattle River Trail, and a hiker was 4.2 miles in from Route 2. She set it off. She had the type that you can text, and so she texted in that she was all alone, had an injury, and was bleeding badly. And there was no cell service in the area. And so search and rescuer got to her within a couple hours. And at that point, she had actually self-rescued herself to within a half a mile of Route 2. She's a 67-year-old Milglina Gabarova from London, England. That is a tough bird. To be 67 years old and self-rescue the 4 miles over a couple hours. Some people don't even hike that on a good day, much less when you got a major injury. But it was because of that because she had that significant laceration, because she got out and basically self-rescued herself, they were able to get her to an ambulance waiting on her at the trailhead and getting out. So her physical fitness and her can-do attitude got her to treatment quickly, so kudos to her for being prepared to get herself out of there and to extricate herself from the woods. Bravo there to Gabarova. So let's be smart, let's be safe out there, folks. Come prepared. Gabarova was prepared. Miss Wilson and husband were not prepared, although it worked out. Both of them worked out. In the end, nobody passed away. But remember, stupid choices will put your life in danger and search and rescue's lives in danger. So in the case of the couple up on Mount Washington, they had to come in the same conditions that led to the severe hypothermia. Those rescue folks had to come in. And not only were they there in those conditions, but who knows, anything could happen on the way to that. So keep that in mind. You know, injuries are a completely different thing than being not prepared. But if you do have an injury and you can be prepared for that injury, like the alert button that she had on her Garmin, then that's going to help take yourself, you know, hopefully that's going to save you. And if you can extricate yourself as much as possible, it's going to help the rescuers as well. But most people will tell you if you have a severe laceration, you need to stop where you're at, particularly if you've gotten in touch with somebody. Because, you know, if you lose enough blood, you can pass out and make it worse, right? Or you could just get dizzy or whatever, and you could make the laceration worse. So she's tough, and she got out, but probably the best thing to do is stay in place. Folks, if you got anything out of today, subscribe to this channel. If you know some folks that are not subscribers, don't view it, but you know they would be a good fit, go and send them a link to this or share this with them. We want to build the hiker community and get more people involved in going into the great outdoors and in loving creation and loving the heat that we all have that kind of love affair with. But give me a thumbs up, send in a comment. Love your comments. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.